Every home service business owner that I talk to says the same thing, and it's that good help is hard to find. And they're right, but they're solving the wrong half of that problem. My name is Derrik Schweppe. I'm the founder of Home Coach. I help home service business owners build profitable businesses that no longer depend on them to run. Nearly 10,000 one-on-one coaching calls with hundreds of business owners all around the world, 16 countries, at least 48 states, maybe more. And I can tell you that the staffing problem comes up with every single person. That is the number one pain point of home service business owners around the world. In this video, I'm going to show you why the hiring cycle keeps running no matter what you try, what's actually causing the turnover, and it's probably not what you think it is. And I'm going to show you exactly what to build so that it stops. I get it. You guys are frustrated. Business owners are just frustrated and they're burned out from hiring. They feel like they've tried everything and they're convinced that the problem is the labor market. And some of it is. I get it. Yeah, actually some of it is, but most of it isn't. And if you want to understand what's actually going on and what fixes it, subscribe and keep watching. Let me walk you through what I see over and over again. The owner hires somebody, right? Puts them right to work. Within 90 days, sometimes less, they're gone. They just ghost. Oftentimes they just don't show up, send a text, hey, I'm done. They quit or they're fired, whatever it is. So the owner goes back out and hires again. But then the same thing happens. It just repeats. Meanwhile, he's filling the gap himself while that person's gone. He's back in the field, back doing the work he was trying to get off his plate, trying to just get off his shoulders. There's more hours, there's more stress, there's more burnout, and the cycle just perpetuates. And I've seen this play out hundreds of times. It's the natural hiring process is to just hire out of pain. Then you immediately see the weight that this hire could lift for you. And you just feel like, oh, they're going to take so much off my shoulder. So you fall in love with them and you label them a rock star. Like, this person's going to be a rock star. They're going to be so freaking good. And then you immediately underlead them. And then a few months later, you decide, hey, you know what? They actually weren't the rock star I thought they were. So you let them go and then you start over. It's not a talent shortage. This is a broken system that's just running on repeat over and over. The owner tells himself, oh, nobody wants to work anymore. And I hear that all the time. I'm sure you've heard it. It's just a common buzz phrase nowadays is nobody wants to work anymore. Freaking Gen Z, they don't want to work. And it feels true from where we're standing. Like, as a business owner, it feels true from where you're standing. But here's the thing about that line. That is one of the oldest complaints in human history. There's a clay tablet, right? There's a clay tablet from like nearly 2,000 years BC where a man complains that young people are lazy, disrespectful, and don't want to work. Right? There's a dude, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I wrote it down. Hesiod. He's a Greek poet. He wrote in 700 BC that the younger generation had no work ethic and that the world was going downhill fast. And then 1200 years AD, there was a monk named Peter the Hermit, and he wrote, the young people of today think of nothing but themselves. That's BS. It's not the labor market. Look at this. This is online. 130 years of data saying nobody wants to work. 1894. Yeah, you know, what does it say? It's apparent that nobody wants to work anymore. 1905. Nobody wants to work for wages. 1960, 1922, 1937, 1940. Nobody wants to work anymore. 1952, 1969. Nobody wants to work anymore. 1979. Nobody wants to work anymore. 1999. Nobody wants to work anymore. 2006. Nobody wants to work anymore. And when they do, probably some other complaint. 2014, 2022. The greatest generation said it about the baby boomers. The boomers said it about Gen X. Gen X said it about millennials. Millennials are saying it about Gen Z. It's just perpetuating. Like, every single generation for 4,000 years, it's the same freaking complaint. And every single time, the generation in question went on to build the economy, to fight the wars, to run the companies, to build the world. The nobody wants to work anymore is not a data point. It is an emotional feeling, and it's a feeling that has been wrong every single time that it's been said over the last 4,000 years. So stop using this as your excuse. If you take nothing away from this video other than that, stop hiding behind that excuse. It's bullshit. So the question now isn't whether this generation wants to work. They do. We've seen that over 4,000 years. The question is whether your business gives them a reason to stay and work for you. And here's what's actually happening. The real problem isn't finding them, it's keeping them. And when a new employee walks into your business that's disorganized, here's what they experience. There's no clear job description. There's no onboarding process. There's no training. There's just typically, hey, shadow me and let's figure this out together. There's no documented expectation of what good looks like. And if you don't know what good looks like, even if you're doing good work, it feels like you're failing because you don't know when you're winning. You don't know when you're winning or losing. There's no clarity. There's no accountability system. And if you don't have a way of knowing if you're winning or losing, you always feel like you're losing every time. In these businesses, everything or too much lives inside the owner's head. Schedules come through text messages, priorities change by the hour, and the owner's involved in every decision because nobody else has the information to make those decisions. And that's not a good job to work at. That is organizational chaos. And talented people, the ones you actually want, the ones that are going to go on and build your company and build this country and fight the wars and build the economy, they are going to, if they show up to your company like that, they're going to leave for a competitor who has their act together. Or they go work for a larger company because their structure and predictability. You don't lose good employees because of the labor market. You lose them because your business isn't set up to retain them. You are probably the bottleneck. With a high level of confidence, you're the bottleneck. So here's what happened in home service businesses as they grow. And you could probably relate to this. The owner starts out doing everything, right? On the tools, handling sales, doing the service of the business, answering phone calls, running payroll, doing the administrative work. And that's fine at the beginning. That's kind of how it has to be often. But as the business grows, you hire a few people. And instead of stepping back, the owner stays in the middle of everything because that's what got him to this point, right? It got me here, so I have to keep doing this thing. But there's really no system for anybody else to operate without that owner. Every question comes to him, every problem comes to him, and every decision goes through him. So your team isn't running the business. Like the team is waiting for the owner to tell them what to do next. And when the owner steps away, even for a day, things just fall apart. The wheels fall off the bus. Everything stops. So he stays in that role. The business owner just keeps doing it. He works more hours. He takes fewer days off. I can't take a vacation. The business needs me, right? He tells himself that he just needs better people. But better people can't fix a system that was never built to leverage these good people. And the numbers back this up. This isn't me just waxing philosophical. 80% of home service business owners say that they have trouble staffing their teams. 80%. That is a crap. 3 out of 4 landscaping companies have had at least one open position in the past year at any given time. And 45% of home service business owners had an employee quit for a competitor just in the past year. And these aren't market statistics. This is an industry-wide systemic problem. There's ways to fix it, though. That's the cool part about this. So listen, the market didn't break these businesses. Like these businesses were just never structured to retain good people in the first place or to even attract good people maybe. Let's talk about what it actually costs, right? Let's talk about the data behind this. Studies estimate that a bad hire runs 30% up to 2 times that person's annual salary once you factor in your lost productivity, management time, and turnover. So think about what that actually means. Like you hire a guy at $50,000 a year and he doesn't work out. That mistake costs you $15,000 up to $100,000 before you even post the next job ad. And you're doing this on repeat and then asking yourself, hey, where's the money going? Gallup, which is a big research company, they report that employee disengagement costs U.S. businesses hundreds of billions every single year. And the cause correlated to that is poor management system. It's not crappy people. That was just general employee, but replacing a professional level employee costs 50 to 150% of their annual salary when you factor in the recruiting, the onboarding, the productivity you lost while that seat was empty. That is a ton of money. You're not saving money by staying in this hiring cycle, this loop. You are just actively lighting money on fire and burning it. So here's the single most important thing I can tell you about this problem. Most people problems in business, they aren't really people problems. They're system problems, and even more specifically, they're typically clarity and accountability problems. Let me show you what I mean. Let me draw this on the iPad. So here's our clarity and accountability triangle, right? All of us are doing what we do because we want results. That's why we're doing this. That's why you get up every day. That's why you work your butt off. And this is something I've noticed over a decade of working with home service business owners all over the world. is when they're not getting the results that they want in their business, it's typically one of two things. It's typically a lack of clarity, meaning their people don't actually know what they need to do to be successful in their role, and or it's accountability, meaning they do know what they need to do, hopefully, but nobody's holding them accountable to ensuring that they do that thing and do that thing well and to the standard that's expected of them. So when we're not seeing those results, there is a gap somewhere between clarity and accountability, oftentimes both. It's unclear roles, it's unclear expectations, it's inconsistent follow through, it's emotional decisions instead of data-driven decisions. And that's what is driving this turnover. It's not the labor market. We already debunked that. Labor market is not broken. It's not your bad luck with candidates. It is clarity and accountability. So here's what I want you to understand about this. Your great employees exist. They're out there. Like, I know they're out there. They're just working for businesses that are stable, organized, and they're clear about their expectations. So the question is your business that place? And if it's not, how do you make it that place, right? If everything lives in your head, your business is not that place. And it's not because you're a bad owner. It's because you haven't built this system yet. You don't fix a people problem by finding different, better people. You fix it by building a business that these better people will stay in once you get them. So the principle is very simple. Hire slow, fire fast. And most owners do the exact opposite. They hire fast out of desperation, and then they drag their feet letting somebody go long after they knew it's not working, right? That costs you twice, once on the way in and once on the way out. But when you slow down your hiring process and you use a consistent, proven framework, evaluating every candidate the same way, your decisions get better. Not because you're a better interviewer, it's because you're using a system instead of your gut feeling. Think about it this way. When you launch somebody into a role with documented expectations, a clear 30, 60, 90-day plan, so they have very clear accountability of what is expected of them the first 30 days, the next 30 days to 60 days, and the last 30 days to 90 days. You have weekly accountability with them. They don't easily leave, and it's because they know how to win with you. And people stay where they know how to win, because if you don't know how to win and you don't know what good looks like, you always feel like you're losing, and that's heavy. When a role is clearly defined, hiring gets way easier. It's not because you found better candidate pools. It's because you know exactly who you're looking for, and you can tell them exactly what the job is and what's expected of them to be successful. Retention gets way easier because people stay in environments where they feel clear, they feel confident, they feel capable, and they're recognized for their performance because it's clear if they're winning or losing, not just the emotion of the owner for the day. And the owner gets to step back because the system runs without him being the answer to every question. That is not a fantasy. That is what happens when you build this talent acquisition and retention system first before you hire somebody. Maybe you don't believe me, and that's fine. If you have a Chick-fil-A in your area, drive down there. If you don't have a Chick-fil-A, I'm sorry for your loss. But if you have a Chick-fil-A, drive down there and look at the average age of the workers there. They're like 17 years old, 16 years old. It's probably their first job, and you get the same experience at any Chick-fil-A location you go to. And it's not because they found exceptional workers, the very few in this whole generation that actually want to work. No, it's because the system is bulletproof. The person doesn't have to carry the operation. The operation carries the person. I see this in coaching calls all the time when we're with new business owners. I've talked to owners who will hire 10, 15, 20 new people in a season, and they'll end the year with the same size crew that they started with. And high turnover like that isn't just a hiring problem, it's a retention problem. And retention is almost always a systems problem, right? The owners who crack this and build a team that runs without them, they didn't find this magical secret source of better employees, this fountain of youth that has all these great employees they could just scoop up and pour into their business. They get clear on the roles. They document expectations for each of their people. They build accountability systems. And they stop being the hub of every decision. Once they do that, the right people start staying because staying makes sense. Right? Here's a stat that tells a better story. 45% of home service business owners have had an employee quit in the past year for a competitor. Half. That's a lot. And in most of those cases, the competitor isn't paying more. It's not a step up. It's a lateral move just because they feel like this competitor had a more organized operation. The employee left chaos for organizational clarity. And you can't compete for talent with a disorganized business. You just can't. You have to build a better business, and the talent problem gets easier on its own. I've done this too. I'm just because my business is the business of business doesn't mean that I haven't done this, right? I've hired out of pain. I've been so busy and needed somebody so bad. I took the mantle off my shoulders, put it on theirs, rushed the process, brought them in, and then just gave them almost nothing to work with. Like, hey, follow me. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. But no clear role, no documented expectations, no real onboarding. Just, hey, here's what we do. Watch me. Then go do it. And then it didn't work out, and I've given them the label like, oh, yeah, you know what? They just weren't the right person. They didn't have what it takes to hang with us. But I was pointing the finger right there, and there's 3 fingers pointing right back at me, right? That was on me, not on them. If you follow the systems, you can point like this, get all 5 fingers. There's no fingers pointing back at you because you got the systems dialed. But I underled them, right? I set them up to fail before they even started. And then I act surprised when they did. And I tell myself this story because it lets me off the hook, right? Because it's easier than admitting that you are the problem. And I'm telling you this because I know how easy it is to sit in that story. And I know how much it costs in time, in money, in the hit to your culture. And every time you run this cycle, it's painful. It hurts everybody. So the system I'm going to show you exists because I made those mistakes. I've watched hundreds of business owners make those mistakes, and you don't have to keep making them. There's a much better way. I had a client, he's a landscaping business owner, and he came to me buried just in the same cycle. Felt like he was the only one who could do anything right. The business just depended on him being there every single day. So we slowed down the process, got roles clearly documented, built accountability into every week so as people knew exactly what winning should look like. There's no more shadow me and figuring out, right? They had this documented onboard and training process so they could learn the business, learn the processes, learn the trade. A few months in, he called me and he said, Derrik, I've been waiting for the wheels to fall off the bus because this time of year, they always do, but they're not. And I don't feel like I have enough to do. Not meaning that he didn't have enough business. His business was booming. He was on an absolute tear. But his team was doing such a good job. He found great people and found a way to better retain them through this clarity and accountability that there was less on his plate for the first time in years and years. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I should be spending my time on. His team was running. The systems were working. And he had more time than things he needed to do. Is that not why we're doing this? Is that not why you started a business? You didn't do it to work 60, 80 hours. Like, you did it for that, to be able to go golf midday, go boat, go ski, whatever it is you like to do, go knitting, go play backgammon. I don't care, but you did it for freedom. And, hearing somebody say, I just don't know what to do with my time. Like, I just don't feel like I have more time than the business needs me. Like, it's not a complaint I hear often, but it's the complaint that every owner should be working towards. He didn't find better employees. He built a better business, and the right people stayed and ran it for him. So here's what changes, right? When you build the operating system first, here's what life actually looks like. You stop hiring in panic mode. You stop scrambling to fill a position because someone just didn't show up or quit, and you've got jobs that need to be done. You're always going to be building that bench of talent that you can bring up to the major leagues when you're ready. You start hiring with more intention. You know exactly what the role requires, what the right person looks like, and how to set them up to win and to succeed. Your team stops needing you for everything. They have the information and the systems to make decisions without you in the middle of it. You stop getting calls on your day off. You probably take a day off now. You probably aren't even taking days off now. So now you're taking days off and you're not getting calls on those days off because somebody else has the system and the knowledge on how to answer those questions without you. You stop dreading the conversation when someone quits because turnover drops when people work inside a clear, stable organization. That's it. And the data backs this up. Gallup research shows that highly engaged teams that operate within clear systems of clarity and accountability are 17% more productive, 21% more profitable, and experience 59% lower turnover. We talked about the cost of losing people. So factor that in. If you fix that by 60%, even half that, 30%, if you are 20% more profitable, if you did $100,000 in profit last year or $1 million in profit, how would 1.2 million in profit look? Right? It's a big swing. And you can finally start building something that runs without you. It's a business. It's not just the job that you've created right now that requires your constant presence. It's a business that's profitable and runs without you. It's not about finding magical employees. It's about becoming the kind of business owner and business that good employees want to work for, and a business that they want to stay in. So one more thing before I wrap up. I talk a lot about this organizational chaos. And if your scheduling and your quoting and your job management is still running through text messages and spreadsheets, your team cannot operate without you because all the information lives in your phone, on your notepad, and probably just in your head. And that's stressful. I recommend Jobber to literally all my clients because it centralizes everything: your scheduling, your routing, your client communication, your invoicing, your job tracking, so you can understand which jobs are profitable and which not, all in one place that your whole team has access to. I had a client the other day who had somebody in their landscaping business call super mad because their dogs got out. And guess what? My client employees that were on the job took a picture of the gate before they were there, took a picture of the gate when they left, timestamp with the gate closed. Guess what? Wasn't us. Off the hook. Overall, it's built specifically for field service businesses like yours, and it's not complicated to use. When your whole team has access to that information that they need, they stop having to call you for it. It's one of the first steps and one of the best steps you could take for getting out of the day-to-day and really stepping back and assuming an owner role, not just an operator role. So if you're interested in it, there's a link in the description. It'll get you a free trial and a big discount. So check it out. Now, here's where I want to land this. If you've been blaming the labor market, you know that's not true now. We looked at it, right? Refresher, take a screenshot of this. It's not true. And if you think it's true, you're lying to yourself because it's an easy way out, right? It's not true. The labor market is the same for every home service business in your area, in your market. And the ones that keep good people and still you're good people, they've built better system. So that's the work you need to do. Inside Home Coach, that's what we do. We build your home talent system in the first 90 days, role clarity, accountability, structure, onboarding, the whole thing. It's documented, it's operational, so that your team can run the show without you calling shots on every single job. Now, if you're ready to stop being a bottleneck, book a free strategy call. The link's in the description. We'll look at your business together. We'll show you exactly where to start, where the gaps are to get you where you want to be. And please subscribe if this was useful. I'm going to drop new videos every week for home service business owners just like you who are serious about building something real. See you in the next one.